Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Indiana men's soccer team, they earned a national seed in the NCAA tournament.
And volleyball rolls in Wilkinson Hall with 2 victories over the weekend. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
As Thanksgiving draws near, I can't find any place I'd rather be than Beckley's studio talking about some Hoosier sports.
I couldn't agree more, Joe.
Well, hello and welcome into Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Joe Cronin.
And I'm Graham Nash. Speaking of Thanksgiving, what's your favorite part of the holiday, Joe?
I mean, Graham, come on. It's the 3 Fs, the food. I mean, it doesn't be. Thanksgiving food is so good. Family,
unbeaten.
Always great conversations with the folks. My favorite, it's the football, Graham.
Oh.
I mean, come on now. It doesn't beat. Oh, let's toss you the little back shoulder fade right there. On football, though, Indiana football continues their historic season as the Hoosiers advance to 11-0 for the first time ever. It only took them 127 seasons to do so. The Hoosiers beat Wisconsin 31-7 this past weekend. Graham and I, we got a joint highlight read coming your way, so let's head to Merchants Bank Field at Memorial Stadium. Final home game for the Indiana season in 2025. Packed house at the Rock. Towels a-waving. Let's get to the football. Late first quarter. Fernando Mendoza floats one up. Look at that touch. And getting up there is the roommate, Charlie Becker. Hang time on that one. Touchdown number 27 for Mendoza. Becker, his 2-game stretch is unbelievable.
Oh, he's been phenomenal. Back-to-back games of 100-plus yards, and that wasn't his only catch. Check out this one to start the second half. He is all the way down in Wisconsin territory, setting up an Indiana drive that was much needed at this point, 10-7, and Fernando Mendoza finds the big tight end. Holden stays for touchdown number 28 on the season for the gunslinger.
Let's check out some defense. Carter Smith running, and what's that on the ground? Ball. Where is it? Who has it? Let's take another look. Stephen Daly just says, give me that. I'm taking the whole thing. Hosea Wheeler's the one to fall in it. Hoosiers with the ball. Next play, Mendoza, look how much time. Finds Riley Nowakowski, the big man rumbling, stumbling, breaking tackles. 37 into the end zone. Hoosiers pouring it on. Touchdown number 29 for Mendoza.
And Wisconsin trying to answer back. Carter Smith scanning, has all the time in the world, and oh no, he threw it to the defense. Devin Boykin with 2 INTs, this SZN. He is on a roll as of late. And then the magic number 30 for Fernando Mendoza finds Omar Cooper. The 30th passing touchdown of the season makes him the all-time leader in Indiana history, passing Curtis Rourke, who had 29 last season. With the win, the Hoosiers go undefeated at home in back-to-back seasons. That means Curt Cignetti is a perfect 15-0 to begin his coaching career at the Rock. Looking forward, Indiana is off this weekend for their second bye week of the season, but oh man, their final game is a doozy. The Hoosiers travel to West Lafayette in 2 weeks to take on Purdue in the 100th Old Oaken Bucket game.
Not only is Indiana 15-0 under Cignetti at home, but they have the longest win streak at home in the entire country, with Alabama losing this weekend. We're keeping it up with the football talk, though. More in depth this time, as our very own Thomas Crow is in the studio. He's breaking down some film. He loves this film study stuff from the Hoosiers' win over the Badgers. Thomas, I know you kind of got a theme. What's the theme for today?
Well, you're right, Joe. I do love film room, and it's the same way that our buddy Graham likes tight ends. We're getting 3 of them involved today. And a touchdown pass from Carter Smith. Not the one you're expecting, though. Here we go, jumping in to the second quarter here. Carter Smith, the quarterback for Wisconsin, under center. They're in a jumbo I formation package. 2 tight ends at the top and Lance Mason down here at the bottom. Now, what Indiana is an 8-man front with 3 linebackers in the back. The backers' job is just kind of keep their eyes out, hit the spot if it's a run, if it's a pass, drop back. They're not going to do that here. So what's going to happen is they're going to bring this fullback into the flat. Mason is just going to kind of tap Elijah Hardy, make him think he's blocking, and slip out the back. Caden Turner jumps into the gap, and Indiana's going to have 4 guys in the gap that they thought the run play was coming into. Carter Smith's going to have enough time to find the tight end on the backside. Let's watch it. Look at this. Fake I formation. Pretend it's going to the fullback. I know Aiden Fisher thought it was, but Lance Mason all the way into the end zone. Let's see the back view of it. What Wisconsin's going to do is they're going to bring these linemen all shifting to their right, make it seem like that gap is going to be open for everyone. Well, it was, and Indiana had 4 defenders freeze. Fisher, great play recognition to think that he had the stop on the fullback, but he needed to turn his head a little bit more if he wanted to get Mason before he walked into the end zone. Now, let's jump to the Indiana side of tight ends. Now, this play might look familiar, very similar to the one that Indiana ran against Illinois. It is a Riley Nowakowski screen. And the difference on that one is Indiana took that up the far sideline. This one's going up the middle. So, Ajani, Coogan, Bray Lynch, they're all going to release their blockers, their defenders. Let them get towards the quarterback. Fernando's going to loft it over. And Nowakowski, little rub block there, and then back to the center. And these receivers' jobs are to get their defenders coming this way. The top side guys get their defenders going that way. So it's 3 linemen, Nowakowski, all against 1 safety. Eventually, Nowakowski's going to bounce it to the outside, but he's got NFL speed, so it's all right for him to do so. Let's look at it. Nowakowski's just a little bump, come this way, and look at it. It's just 1 safety to beat. He beats him. A little bit of a hole there behind E.J. Williams, decides to bounce out to the right side and gets pushed out about the 15. Now, when you're taught as a defender how to guard against a screen, retrace your steps. Both of these defensive tackles for Wisconsin almost did. They were with arm's reach of doing so. Look at 68 right there. Almost got into him. Breaks the tackle, does Nowakowski, and a little bit of room up that middle. He might have scored, but might have gotten tackled a little bit shorter than all the way down there. Now, Nowakowski scored later in the game. Let's get Holden Stays his chance here on film room. He's down here. Now, this play looks a little familiar, doesn't it? It's the exact same play that Wisconsin ran. Mike Shanahan's telling Wisconsin, whatever you want to try and do, we're going to do it better. So Nowakowski in the flat, just as Wisconsin did, they're going to bring him into the flat, try and make it seem like he's getting the ball. Jumbo I formation. Roman Hemby's going to have to evade this play action because the Wisconsin defender is almost going to get to Fernando Mendoza. He just has to get there and say, you know what, I'm going to take a hit, but if he gets our boys a touchdown, I'll do it. Watch Stays jump out the back. Easy touchdown there. Fernando might have wanted to throw that one a little bit higher, a little too close for comfort. Look at Hemby here. Boom. Gets blown up there, but keeps his quarterback safe. And like I said, just a little bit close to the defender there, but Holden Stays gets into the end zone. I'm going to send it back to my friends and the consummate professionals at the desk.
Thank you, Thomas. When they say let him cook, I feel like that's what they're describing. Does anyone know more ball than our guy TC?
As our resident ball knower, I would trust no one more than Mr. Crow with some ball knowledge.
Somehow we're still talking about football, just the European kind, as Todd Yeagley in the Indiana men's soccer program found out their path to a 9th star on Monday afternoon when the NCAA tournament bracket was released. For the 39th consecutive season, the Hoosiers are playing in the NCAA tournament. For the 25th time in program's history, they earned a national seed as Indiana comes in as the 6th overall seed. The top 16 teams are national seeds. The first round bye lets the Hoosiers scout a pair of familiar foes, the St. Louis Billikens and the Kentucky Wildcats. Both teams Indiana beat in the regular season. The Hoosiers finished the regular season 12-5-1 and 5-5-1 in Big Ten play, ultimately missing the conference tournament. But a strong strength of schedule, multiple ranked wins, and the power of that Indiana brand helped boost that resume. Now, IU has a chance to rest as it begins its quest for a 9th national title and its first since 2012. Indiana's 50th NCAA appearance in 53 seasons begins Sunday at home against Thursday's winner. The 6th seed also guarantees at least 2 tournament matches at Bill Armstrong Stadium, an advantage head coach Todd Yeagley says he's very excited about.
Yeah, you wake up in the same bed. You're not traveling. You're not going across time zones. All the things that become a challenge. It's no doubt. So you put all that together, and I think that's why most teams have an advantage at home. But in particular, the factors that we have is our surface is amazing, and we have a great home field. We have a great crowd.
A win on Sunday would extend IU's Sweet 16 streak to a national best 11 straight. Follow our IUSTV men's soccer beat reporters for updates.
Indiana men's basketball continued its non-conference slate on Sunday, hosting the Cardinals of Incarnate Word. Arian Plaskoff has the story.
It wasn't smooth sailing by any means, but Indiana men's basketball moved to 4-0 on the season with a 69-61 win over Incarnate Word on Sunday.
Obviously, shots weren't falling, but I think at the end of the day, that's important to still find a way to win games when shots aren't falling. I know it didn't look pretty, but that's part of growing, and I think there's a lot we can take away from that as we look at it tomorrow.
The Hoosiers shot a season-low 5 of 24 from 3 and struggled to find any offensive rhythm. The usually dynamic offensive trio of Tayton Connerway, Tucker DeVries, and Lamar Wilkerson were a combined 9 of 29 from the field. Despite the off night from beyond the arc, Sam Alexis, Reed Bailey, and Trent Sisley picked up the slack down low and brought much-needed energy to their teammates and the Indiana faithful in the crowd.
We were, maybe it's, sometimes with teams, even veteran teams, when you're not making shots, your energy isn't where you want it to be. That's fighting human nature, and that's what we can't be. So that's where the learning comes in tonight. Hey, it's not going perfectly for us as an offense. We're missing the shots that we normally make. You got to continue to fight. And in the first half, we did.
Bad shooting nights are bound to happen in a 31-game regular season. Finding a different way to win is a trait teams need to possess, and Indiana did just that. The Hoosiers will look to move to 5-0 as they host Lindenwood on Thursday. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Ian Plaskoff.
After averaging nearly 100 points across the first 3 games, the off night could be a sign of water finding its level. Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And volleyball notches another historic win. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Tonight. Graham, we still got half a show to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Let's jump right in. Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Ethan Bonner. Ethan, looks like you're also in blue. Is that right?
I am in blue. I like your blue too,
Wow.
But the team we're talking about wears red, and this athlete as well. And that's why this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week goes to the athlete under center who has led Indiana football to their first ever 11-0 start in program history, along with extending their home game winning streak to 15, the longest in college football. That man is Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza broke the single-season franchise record for passing touchdowns with 30 in last week's win versus Wisconsin. One more that was set by Curtis Rourke last season. He also has 5 rushing touchdowns to go with it. However, Mendoza isn't just producing on the field. He's building a resume that goes far beyond football. Indiana rolled out Fernando's Heisman Mendoza LinkedIn campaign, which highlights the mindset he brings from the Kelly School of Business: focused, professional, and always prepared. The same attention to detail that makes him dangerous on Saturday shows up in the classroom during the week. Mendoza is top 5 in several quarterback categories, including completion percentage, quarterback rating, and total touchdowns. Also, get this. He has 3 games this season with more passing touchdowns than incompletions. That's more than every other quarterback in college football. The Hoosiers take the field next on November 28th, where they compete for the Old Oaken Bucket and their first perfect regular season ever. I'm Ethan Bonner, sending it back to you guys at the desk.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan. Moving on, Indiana volleyball had another dominant weekend at home. They boasted a 3-1 win over Oregon on Friday for the first time in program history, taking down the Ducks, and a 3-0 sweep of Maryland on Sunday. On Friday, freshman outside hitter Jaden Jager had her 5th double-double of the season, recording 15 kills and 10 digs. Additionally, freshman middle blocker Victoria Gray had an excellent match, recording 8 kills and 6 blocks with a hitting percentage of .727. Moving on to Sunday, the Hoosiers' victory over Maryland matched their program record for single-season Big Ten wins. The Hoosiers also broke a rally-era hitting percentage for the Big Ten contest with a team hitting at .456. Freshman setter Teodora Krichkovich racked up 42 assists, setting up the Hoosiers' offense for a whopping 51 kills on the game. Freshman outside hitter Jaden Jager also had an excellent game with a match-high 16 kills. Next up for Indiana volleyball, they will host Rutgers on Thursday at 6 p.m. for their second-to-last home game of the regular season. Within volleyball's success lies a younger class of players, actually the highest-ranked freshman recruiting class in IU history. Our Mike Badrov has the story on one of the freshmen who is helping make history, Bloomington's very own Avery Freeman.
Avery Freeman grew up dreaming of playing volleyball for her hometown school.
For the Hoosiers. And another service ace.
That's Avery Freeman, Bloomington extraordinaire, number 73 overall recruit in the prep digs class, and she has been electric from the service line for these Hoosiers.
The Bloomington native has not only achieved her dream, but she's helping make IU history. Coach Harriet is quoted as saying, "You were destined to wear the cream and crimson." How does that make you feel?
Really good. I mean, I just think back to like the little girl that would literally go to all the camps, all the games, and I was just so into it. I remember looking up to the girls so much, and it just means so much to me. Since obviously it's my hometown, I really wanted to be a part of this growing program because I knew where it could go and what Steve wanted and the rest of the coaching staff wanted to do with this program, and I just thought that it was a great opportunity. Like, I just wanted to be a part of the growing culture here.
Now, she's not just a part of the culture. She's a part of history, setting the standard for volleyball seasons to come.
In his 8th season and putting together one of the best that the Hoosiers have seen in program history. Indiana currently ranked 18th in the nation.
Yes, the Bloomington North graduate is a part of the highest ranked recruiting class and program ranking this school has ever seen. But she didn't travel this far alone, with her parents being there every mile of the way.
We don't even count.
We've been to a lot of states, and I can tell you about convention halls in pretty much every state.
For Avery's parents, this journey has been a rewarding, full-circle time for the family.
The other day, I was out there watching her warm up, and then I just kind of had the chills because I remember going to the games with both of my girls and sitting in the stands and watching Avery. And so to see kind of it come full circle for Avery is pretty, like, it's pretty special.
Yeah. Seeing her in the Indiana jersey, you know, that's special and unique. You know, not everybody gets to do that, so we really appreciate it.
Special is the right way to describe this IU team, as they continue to do nothing but make IU history for Hoosier volleyball. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Mike Badroff.
As the season continues, Avery and the other freshman recruits will look to make history with just one more Big Ten win to set the program record for conference wins in a season.
Just seems like all we're talking about is winning here at Indiana, as the women's basketball team remains undefeated on the young season after beating the Butler Bulldogs. Our Grace Jeffer has the story.
It was a night of a little in-state rivalry here tonight at Simon Scott Assembly Hall, but right from the jump, the Hoosiers had this game fully in control. After just their first quarter performance, it was no surprise to see the Hoosiers come out on top. With a 72-53 victory over the Butler Bulldogs, Indiana played fast and aggressively right from the tip-off. Redshirt sophomore guard Lene Beaumont was a massive contributor to the victory. As the point leader of the night, Beaumont recorded 21 points. She shot 6 for 9 from the field and 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. All eyes were on her, especially during the first half, where 19 of her points were scored.
In my opinion, as her coach, I mean, we really feel like she's a three-level scorer. You know, she can get to the rim, she can easily, you know, get comfortable shooting at mid-range, and then, you know, she's been shooting really well. Bo's she's just becoming more comfortable, you know, and on the offensive side of the ball. We need Bo. We need a confident Bo. We need Bo to be able to score in different ways for us, and you know, the last two outings for us, she's been really good.
Holding Butler to only 33% from both the field and from downtown, Indiana was solid on defense. Even so, the Hoosiers are still struggling with fouling.
For sure, it's a point of emphasis for us, and you know, they've heard it. I just think it's trying to find that balance, because I do want them to stay aggressive, but I need them to play much more sound and less fouling.
This Indiana victory not only kept the team's record untarnished, but also marked Morin's 450th career win. On Tuesday, the Hoosiers head back down to Florida, except this time to Fort Myers to face Florida Gulf Coast. Will this be Morin's 451st career win? Tune in to find out. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Grace Jeffer.
After the in-state matchup against Butler, the Hoosiers will travel to Fort Myers for a game against Florida Gulf Coast next Tuesday.
The IU men's and women's cross-country teams finished 19th and 11th respectively at the Great Lakes Regional Championships last Friday. Lily Myers paved the way for the Hoosiers, placing 35th with a time of 20:57.34. Senior Claire Overfelt was next to cross the line for IU, helping to place just outside the top 10. For the men, it was sophomore Dylan Naley to finish first, crossing the line at 31:13.49. Unfortunately, no Hoosiers qualified for the NCAA championships, bringing Indiana's season to an end.
Let's take it to the ice rink. The Indiana men's hockey team faced the Denison Big Red in Bloomington this weekend. Our Keegan Walker has you covered with everything that went down.
Hello everybody, welcome back here at Frank Southern Ice Arena. The Indiana men's hockey team looking to continue a dominant 10-game winning streak, making it 11 games against the Denison Big Red. I would also like to note that at their last home game against the Louisville Cardinals, the Hoosiers won 12-0, and they haven't allowed more than 3 goals in their last 6 games.
The Indiana men's hockey team, looking to capture their 11th straight win on Friday, looked absolutely dominant to start the night. Although it didn't look that way on the scoreboard because by the end of the period, they only had a 1-0 lead to show for it. The Hoosiers stayed persistent and were able to rattle off 4 goals in the first 5 minutes of the second period, including a pair of goals from forward Ryan Burke.
I think the biggest thing that our team has done this year is they've gotten away from the me individual hockey. They've gotten a lot more to the we and the us. And so we're running as a herd, and we're kind of going that way, right? Because that's what we need to do.
The final 20 minutes would show the standouts of this game, with forward Luke Slavin scoring his second goal and fellow forwards Andrew Chambers and Ryan Burke scoring a goal apiece, giving themselves each a hat trick, and the Hoosiers would go on to win by a score of 11-4.
This concludes another game of IU hockey. 11-4 the final score. Not really that much of a surprise, but it was a great game nonetheless. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Keegan Walker. Back to you at the desk.
The Hoosiers would further extend that win streak to 12 games with a 7-0 win over the Big Red on Saturday.
Joining us in studio now is with the Candy Stripe Calendar Report is IUSTV sports reporter Grace Lesher.
Thanks, Graham. Even with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, the Hoosiers do not get a break from the competition and have multiple NCAA titles on the line. Over the weekend, men's tennis will travel to Florida for the NCAA Individual Championships. On Friday, both men's and women's swim will compete in the Ohio State Invitational in Columbus. On Saturday, number 17 Indiana Volleyball will play in a highly anticipated match as they take on the number 1 ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers in Wilkinson Hall. Looking to Sunday, wrestling will travel to Norman to compete against Oklahoma, and number 6 seeded men's soccer will play their first game in the NCAA tournament. They will sit out the first round as they were awarded a bye and will play the winner of the St. Louis versus Kentucky game right here in Bloomington at Bill Armstrong Stadium. That's all I have for this week's Candy Stripe calendar. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Grace. That's going to do it for our show this week. Thank you so much for tuning in right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Joe Cronin saying a happy Thanksgiving.
And I'm Graham Nash. We'll see you next week.